Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to You've Championed Yourself. Who are you? I'm Chris Ferguson, your host. It has always been a dream of mine to showcase ordinary people who, those who have taken their dreams and their ideas and turned it into their reality. As they reach beyond their personal struggles, their pains, their traumas, where so many people give up, they lose hope. These people don't. They walk through their obstacles, they walk beyond their challenges, not knowing where it's going to take them, but trusting themselves enough not to give up, to do the follow through in their personal life, their career, and in relationships. This is what I call a champion. Today, I have Rosalind Panda with me. She's an artist, and let's welcome her to the podcast. Hi
Hi,
there. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about you, Christine?
I'm amazing. It's been an amazing, amazing day. And I'm honored and I'm excited and I'm thankful that you wanted to be interviewed on You've Championed Yourself. Who are you? And my first question, I ask this of all my interviewees, is everybody has a backstory. Everybody has an understanding of why they started doing what they did. Can you share your backstory with us?
Of course, yeah. So, since my childhood, I would mention that my father, he always encouraged me especially, to do best in studies. And apart from studies, he always focused on having us a wonderful foundation in extracurricular activities. That means creative side of it. He got me into doing music lessons. I play music in musical instrument called harmonium, and I sing. I compose songs, and also 1 hour or 2 hour of a day I spent doing artwork. And my dad knew that I'm very expressive when I speak, I think. So he always thought I needed, every human being needs that medium or that creative time to express themselves how they want to do. So he got me those. When we were kids, he will get me some materials such as crayons, sketch pens, drawing books. He said, whatever comes to your mind, just draw it. I say, okay, dad, this is coming to my mind now. Nature. So I was always sparked by nature whenever I go, because my surrounding, my village where I used to live, it's full of water, trees, greeneries. So it always gives me that wonderful feeling, and I grab that inspiration and put it on my canvases or my drawing books that time. But whatever, if I'm putting a eggplant or even a something, I'm drawing mangoes. So dad would say, "Oh, this looks great. You wanna do something, change? You wanna alter something, improvise something onto it?" So I'll think about it. How can I make it better? How can I do it? So that kind of thinking time I always gave to myself. So apart from when I used to be in school, I come back, I specifically allocate my time for 1 hour for drawing sketches and 1 hour for music lessons, things like that. So we had also one other thing I would mention, that we had some storybooks. We had a few morals, some stories of Jesus and things like that. So some mythological stories, and we get some kind of like kindness about humanity, about great things to do to humans. So at the end of the story, we get some morals. So I always thought, right now I'm a kid, but when I become older, these things will come into picture. And my dad always said, as kids, if you have wonderful foundation in your life, your mind is filled with good things, then it is going to be implemented throughout your whole life. When we are not there as parents, you can hold yourself. If you fall, you can wake up on your own. You can do the best things that you learned as a kid, and you will not feel like you are lost. You will always find the way. You'll always find the way. So those kind of like kindness towards humanity, and being in nature, and like birds, animals, things like that, always get me into have a human element inside me. And I paint those on the drawing books, especially. And we had in our moral book, or few of the books, we had the people like Abraham Lincoln, George Bernard Shaw, what the people who have influenced or have changed, brought a change into human society. We had those pictures and their life story. So we had that activity that we would create the portrait of that specific person so that we can relate to that personality more, and then read about them, their story, whole life story. So it was a good learning experience, I would say, as a human being, for a kid to feel good things in us. So I used to do the sketch of very nice sketch. My dad said, always used to say, oh, you're drawing very good, you're sketching really wonderfully. Can't say that you are a 6 years old or 7 years old. You're doing so wonderful. So my dad's encouragement, I would say, that always kept me going. And also, I participated in many competitions, drawing competitions, exhibitions, and I was a pride of my school. So my school always, wherever I go for speaking gigs or debate competition, essay competition, drawing competition, my teacher would send me that we want you to represent our school. So that's how I got a lot of encouragement from my parents and my teachers. It was a private school, so their teachers were also focusing on the development of extracurricular activity in a person. Because study, that is a different thing, but these things always brings out the true identity of a person, and they can do wonderful things in the humanity, towards the humanity, through these activities. So I would say the encouragement of my parents and my teachers always kept me going. And so I built up a wonderful bright side towards my life as well. Like, no matter what life gives you, you always see the bright side of it, because everything has a lesson and things happen for better, because we turn into better things. Bad things happen to people, but life is about keep going, and your heart has to be pure no matter what.
Mm.
Yeah, so I would say those encouragement kept me going always.
It's really important for kids to have that support system.
Hmm.
A lot of kids don't have it, and so I'm so excited that you did, that it expounded it. But when did you start going from like drawings to paintings? What was the need to change? Because there's people that do etches and pencil drawings all their life and make amazing photographs. But
Hmm.
there's what was that in you that changed it from pencil to paint?
So in my childhood as well, my dad would bring watercolors as well, because as you grew in age, my teachers also see that, oh, she can draw really nice. So now it's time for her to fill these things with colors. So they told my parents that you should give her watercolors and more colors, like more things which she can really play with and do wonders with. Because with sketches, pencils, you will have some limitation, but with colors, you can explore a different dimension of it, right? You can definitely make a lot of wonders to it. So my parent didn't have that much money, so but they tried their best to give me that kind of foundation, but they had no clue that I would excel onto this extent right now, what I'm doing currently. But my dad always said that, listen, we are giving you the foundation and the full lesson for life to implement, but you are the person. You, once you become older or on your own, then you can buy the canvas, the colors, whatever you want. So go to that level, because we as parents, we cannot be with you all the time. But
Mhm,
if you keep up that spirit, and that's what you really want to do in your time, using utilizing your time, and that spark, that fire will always be with you, then it's coming from your own. It's the inspiration inside you. It's not like your parents told, your teachers told.
mhm,
But if you invest in yourself in that regard, then it's of course makes your identity, and you will know your vision. So I'm like, okay. So when I grew old, I'm like, okay, as I grew, I'm like, okay, now I can afford this uh, like buying canvases, colors, and I'm like, even if I don't have something to eat, I will say no. I want to buy colors so that I can express. That's what my mindset is currently. Like, no, these are really wonderful things I want to express on the canvas, and it's not just for myself. I'm doing to promote art in every humanity, to nurture that creative side in every human being, because in every human being creativity is there. Focus and promote through my artwork so that people also get inspired through it.
I think that's amazing, but where do you get your creative inspiration? And are you using more oils now versus watercolors?
Yeah, when I was a kid I was used to use watercolor, but right now I'm mostly about oil colors. Yeah.
They have a
'Cause-
different residue on the canvas.
yeah, yes, of course you took it. Yes, yes.
Well, I have a friend of mine. She's an artist in South Florida, and she paints
Hmm.
professionally, and so she's given me a lot of information as far as the process goes because I had no clue. I understand what a canvas is, and I understand canvases come blank, and that's where the creative side sparks inside you to do something. What do you use to spark that creativeness in you?
So I would say that I did not take any art lessons anywhere. And I believe that if I see somebody is doing something and I want to do that way, I I do not follow that. I just get like, okay, what is my theme about that art? I will keep thinking about it. That no, these are the colors I want to see. For example, I have abstract paintings. I have landscape paintings. So if that theme is coming to my mind again and again, and I want to express it, then only I will move to the next. So the theme first, I think about it, like I want to paint a landscape this time, and the colors will flash like in front of me, that I want to use the turquoise color, I want to use the blue color here, I want to use the red color, brown color here, I want to see the color combinations of this. So I think about in my mind, and then I come here and get some, the oil mediums for the oil colors so that I can thin it out if I need to. And if I want to create the texture on it, then I would not use the thinning medium, but not the oil, I will use only the oil colors so that I can bring out that life, like it can stand out from in the background. So so i just i just once I create the first layer of it, I give it some time, that is it really what I really wanted to see, or come back next day. I don't force myself to create something because it's not gonna come as I want. And if it once it's done, it's like it's gonna be drying and you can't blend it in.
It's not like you can erase it.
Exactly. Yeah, you cannot erase it. So I feel like you have to make some adjustment, but creativity is not about forcing yourself, because it's when you create something with a joyful mind, because it's going to a client or a buyer in the end. So I want to put the good energy in it when I'm creating. So I don't get frustrated, or I don't get say, oh, why is it not happening this way? I don't get restless that way.
Mhm.
I paint with patience, and if I'm stopping at one painting and I'm like, no, there is something I want to do, but not today. So I move on to the next painting on the side, because always there is like three, four paintings always going on parallelly all the time. Like one is abstract, one landscape. So depends on my mood, I just change right away. I'm like, okay, this is going here, this is for the next day. Now let's take this one on, because I saw enough of the red color in this one. Now let's move on to the blue color. So I change my mind that way, because colors really affect your mind, influence your mind. So I change that way. And so I give the best energy into it, and by the end, it just comes really nice. Then I take some time from the far, from the close, like I wanted to make it really realistic. So is it looking that way, or what the changes I need to do? Do I really want it to look realistic, or I want to give that abstract look to it? So I give my thought around that, and then just it's about thinking, the thinking process that I use, and I'm really happy while the crazy process is going on. Yeah.
I do have a question because you were talking and you're saying you do it when you're happy. I know I've been fortunate enough to know enough people that are artistic in my life.
Hmm.
And one of my friends, he paints emotionally. And so, I mean, even if he's having not a bad day, but he's just feeling down in the dumps or, what I call low vibing,
Hmm.
he'll paint like a different scenery. It's like a different modality. It's like it's not like the painting behind you of that flower is beautiful, but
Hmm.
he would put a darker spin on it. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Do
Yeah.
you point do you do the same thing at times, paint emotionally, or is it just whatever flows to you?
Uh, I would say that I try to balance my mind always, because the balance, if we give the power to somebody else to ruin our day, it will ruin our day. Because as human being we can be impacted by any external factors, any internal factors. Our family said something, I'm gonna be in a bad mood, right? But I will not. What I try to do is, that's I train my mind like this right now, that all the things, if it looks bad at a certain time, it's going to change. So we don't have to ruin our mood or our mind. Rather, we have to just see the bright side of it, the solution of it, and the solution is in our mind. So I try to train my mind in a positive direction, and before doing any painting, I don't be in an emotional mood. So I emotional means it's like a good one. I otherwise I will show frustration, or I would show sadness, and I would like to remember anything which is that way, because I just, how you bury everything, like something is not bothering you, because it does not actually really mean anything in human life. I believe so, because after going through like a lot of changes in life, a lot of bad experiences, good experiences, right now I'm in love, my life has taken a different dimension altogether. So
Mm,
I always believe that, I'm not saying everybody's life would be the same, but some people become extremely lucky in that situation when they keep their heart really open and balanced. So that good energy just flows in. So that's what happened to my life. So I am love has like flourished my life. So I have a very optimistic attitude towards life, because of how you go down and come up. You think, oh, life is over. This is what I need to do. This is the vulnerability I should go through, or a disastrous situation. But the next day, it changes. It
mhm,
just changes automatically, without even doing anything, which will become really emotional that day. The next day, it's like a ripple of water, it dissolves. So that's where I wanted to always, like, I focus on meditation as well. As a kid, my dad also focused on those things, and the books that I had read in my childhood, those really impact me as well. I have read a lot of books through my dad. We sit, we analyze things, the pros and cons, and write essays on that. Also focus on doing meditation, how to balance your mind, because that is the main master of human life, the mind, and that controls our heart, our emotions.
mhm,
So blaming somebody else or blaming a situation will not solve anything. Rather, we balance our mind and look for the solution, and that changes the whole game of my day. It just does not make me emotional. Rather, I find like, okay, this is the way I just need to handle it. just need to handle the situation in proper manner, as a mature manner,
Hmm.
and I do it. I understand that everybody's life situations are sometimes they become really extreme and really sad, really because they cannot find the solution. They have to be in that such situation. They cannot just live and change their life, right?
Hmm.
But I'm just saying that for me, what works, that
Right.
what has worked. Yeah.
I was just curious because a lot of artists are emotional people
Mm-hmm.
that I have met. And so they're amazing. Their abilities to tap into parts of their brains, I could only wish I had an ounce of that ability. So that's not one of my gifts.
Mm-hmm.
However, the fact is I do understand their creativity because of the openness and the ability to want to share and to express. And so that's why I was curious if you ever did the emotional painting portion of your life, because and when you say you're in love, that's actually an emotional painting
Yeah.
at
Yes.
that point in time because of the fact is so. But sometimes I know with artists and especially like painters, when they get rejection on their work, they take it personally because it's a piece of them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had an experience where somebody has rejected your artwork and said, thank you for submitting it, but no, thank you? How did you respond?
No, I haven't faced that situation because wherever I submitted, I got wonderful encouragement, and they say, "Wow, your work is so good." And but if I say that if somebody is rejecting, also, I understand how to handle that situation, because even if it's a part of me, I created, uh, but I feel like there is always everybody's taste differ,
Hmm.
how what they want to like. Maybe not all the situations, all the artworks that I create, it might not be their category what they are looking into. So I believe that everybody is unique, first of all, and I respect everybody's choices, what they want to see, what they want to like. And maybe they are looking for a particular theme which is not going with what I have, you know. But that doesn't change my attitude towards it. It's like a, okay, once door is open, the this door is closed, the next door is open. I will try all the doors that are available there. If there is no door, I'll create the door for myself, you know. So
I love that, but a lot of painters don't do that. I just, they don't do that. They take it as an emotional upheaval. And so
mm,
I love the fact that you at least are creating your own opportunities
mm.
because as a painter and as an entrepreneur and as that creative person, do you ever have slumps where you don't feel like painting at all and just do something different?
um I mean, yeah, sometimes as human being, we always, right? If we don't want to keep the same thing going, but painting is something, it just comes to me naturally. If I'm sitting and I have another priority, for example, I'm writing a book right now. I am also painting, but I have also the book to write. So I will prioritize my stuff. That doesn't mean that I don't want to paint. Like right now, I'm doing some personal stuff. I have to move from my current house to the next one. So I have to stop painting, because otherwise these paintings will all be wet by the time I move. And so there is certain times, like, I don't, as I said, I do not force myself, but I
Mhm.
always enjoy in the taste of what I'm doing. uh, yeah, sometimes I stay late, like, for example, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, if I'm in a mood like, okay, I want to finish this part, because otherwise it's gonna be dry, and that flow is there. I want to do it, finish it, you know. But sometimes you're like, no, I have other priority. Let me take my time, because as human being, when we enjoy our moment and give ourselves some time to rejuvenate our mind, it even works better. You don't feel like I did so much, I could put all my effort, but somebody rejected or nobody liked it, this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
because I'm not putting that much expectation into it. Because we expect, a lot from others when we also putting a lot of expectation from us, like with us, right, within us. So I try to balance that. Like I don't want to put myself into that expectation side, which is gonna work in the opposite direction on me. So it's
That's
just
a lot of pressure, though. A lot of artists put a lot of pressure on themselves, and trying to get things done and forcing it. So I'm really enjoying the fact that I like the fact that you say you go with the flow, and you go by the feeling of it, and you go by how the moment of the time is for it, because
Mhm.
that is crucial. And I get it. I've been published 3 times. I'm an international bestseller in
Mhm.
a book. So I get the duality of like the podcast and doing a book and doing all clients and everything else that I do. So I understand, but I like the fact that you have harmonized your lifestyle so
Mhm.
that you are compartmentalizing things so that it's like, okay, I'll do this now. I'll stop there. I'll do this now. I'll do this now. I'll do this now. And I'll just keep going and keep cycling through it until it's all done.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing way to do things. That's how I do things.
Yeah, it is like self discipline and
Mhm.
organizing. Self discipline is different than it really like balances out our own mind. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, um, when did you start selling your paintings professionally?
I started selling, I believe, like 4 or 5 years back, and also I like many of the custom paintings I have done. In my website, there is one painting which is one groom, like one husband, called me, somebody's husband, and told me, Rosalind, I saw the Pittsburgh skyline, the way you have done it. I really love it. Can you create something for me that I would give it to my bride uh, on her birthday? So, but we are married and I want to capture that moment. If you can create it, I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that because I'm all about like love, peace, and good emotions. If I can add some values to their life, indirectly, just like I created, but it's their moment, they can enjoy in their life. I will feel really blessed because so that I got a chance to do that. So I just took that as, and then after doing it, I gave it to them. They loved it, and I never stopped since then. Also, I am a board member for River Artworks, a non-profit organization which focuses on promoting art and technology in the society. So I created a lot of oil painting greeting cards for the guests. For River Artworks, they wanted to do the fundraising event. So I created a lot of greeting cards, and those were simply wonderful. And the founder of it, Jane Altman, always has been an encouraging person. He said, Rosalind, you have wonderful creativity, and the vibe, the energy in you is so great. I want yeah, we see artists, but I want that energy to be put everywhere. I'm like, okay. So I created a lot of those custom paintings as well, and sold one of the paintings as well to, it's called Car IT. So they see the guy, he works with the rainforest organization, and he uses my painting on the t-shirts as well. So he approached me like, Rosalind, I want one of your painting, can you create this which will represent rainforest? I'm
Mm.
like, okay. So I created one of the rainforest painting, and then he put it those that painting on all the t-shirts that he sold. And now also it's active, so he creates themes, and one approached me for that specific rainforest one. So yeah, these are few of the things, and I believe there are few more also I have sold. Currently I'm going to be exhibited in Agora Gallery in New York. So I'm living in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you said you're going to go to a gallery, and I was my first question is are they open enough to have people come?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because
And
I
all
didn't know that they were. The last I knew, New York was locked down tight.
now
So
it is open up, and then for COVID, people are checking the vaccination stuff as well. And I think initially people are using masks. People are using masks for sure. It is just if everybody is showing that they are vaccinated, they are good, they're entering to the spaces, and now it has opened up a bit. So and Agora Gallery has opening every month, so my paintings will be there for a month starting from the first week until the last week. So I'm working with them. And also, I'm moving from my current house to the new house, which will be closer to Manhattan. And I will be working with much more, many more other galleries as well. Those are all in my, as an
your hands are full right now. Is that what you're saying? Your plate is full.
I mean, that's our dream, anyways, to be exhibited our paintings into many galleries so that it can reach more buyers and clients who are looking for those kind of work. And I definitely want to add colors and values to people's life. So that's what, and I'm an entrepreneur as well. So I always understand that business acumen side as well. We create, we talk about it, we share our message to the world, as well as we talk to the buyer who we reach their heart, we connect to their heart so that they connect to our artwork, and then it builds a relationship in the end. So I believe in that as well. As a human being, we all need to do it, makes us fulfilled. Like, you see, go through you, once its creation process is ongoing or it's finished, you work on executing it, you plan on executing it, working on the stuff, getting it out there in front of your audience, your buyers. So that is another side of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad because you're the fourth person now that I have met. Three of them are friends that sell their paintings professionally. Did COVID kind of hit you hard? Because it hit a lot of people as entrepreneurs hard during
Mhm.
that time when there was so much chaos and craziness going on in the world. And so did it hit you as hard as it hit everybody else?
I mean, COVID hit everybody for
Yeah.
sure, no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, but I would say that I believed these are going to happen in the world. We can't stop it because it's not in our hand. Specifically, when I understand that some situation is not in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
then I use my brain. I train my brain how to utilize this time, even if I'm staying home. How can I utilize this time apart from my work to the creative process, and I'm going to do the groundwork. So I believe always in the groundwork as well.
Well, it is important. It is all about the mindset because a lot of, it's been a tragedy and I don't want to dismiss it at all. It's just as entrepreneurs, it affected a lot of people because of all the heartache and heartbreak that was going on during it and the fear. So I
Mhm.
was just curious if it affected you as much as it did me as an entrepreneur going through this too.
Mhm.
So
It
there's
definitely did. It definitely did, but I get used to it. If it is not it's not changing pretty soon. I find a way. How can I enjoy that moment as well? Enjoy, that doesn't mean luxury. It's about how can I not live in fear? How can I change that energy of fear or idealness to uh, work activities, groundwork, and still stay the same energetic and enthusiastic and look forward to the future. Because future always changes, future always brings the good energy. It's not going to be the world is like locked down all the time, right?
right.
The human being, there will be balance, like people are going to be less active, things like that. But we have to be active on the internet, on the like social media. We can talk to people, we can share a message even if cannot go in person to places, but things will open up slowly.
Right.
So that's what I
Well, that's my prayer because it's I don't know, people getting, it's just everybody's tired of it. It has
mm,
taken people to so many levels. And as artists and as the creative people and the spiritual people that I've talked to, and to the painters that I've talked to, it took some of them into a dark space, and they had to really do that groundwork to get them out of that thinking, because it was fear based. So I
Mm,
really liked that when you talked about not allowing fear to guide you. That is the key.
mm.
That is the key. No matter what you do, no matter if you're a healer, or an artist of whatever, or an entrepreneur, is not to allow fear, because that's what you attract.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you're fear based, that's what you attract, and that's what you attract more of. So I
Yeah.
really just wanted to thank you for saying that. So you also have an IT business.
Mm-hmm.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah, of course. So my IT business is it's called Rosalind IT Services, and I am a software developer, architect in software since last more than a decade, like 13, 14 years. I have been doing that, and I have my study background as well from computer science. So I always have that inclination towards technology because it's going to grow no matter what. As human being, we are progressing, doing advanced. We are having advanced society now. So that's my big business as well as my experiences coming into play. I understand the software. What do you call that society pretty well. I have worked with many clients like Google, United Healthcare, Citibank, many of the clients in like Fortune 500 clients, Dell, many clients, those are doing all the software development and stuff. So I always believe that to reach mass number of people or to serve the society, everybody is getting educated in technology, especially in COVID. People are getting more and more educated. Yeah. So it's not going away anytime because it's going to advance more and more only. And I just bridge the gap between the clients who are looking for the talents, the technical people, and those technical people are looking for those roles where they can fit in and they can do a best job technically. So my IT services provides that staffing and recruiting side of it, as well as I have application development, mobile application development, equipment side of it as well, which I help clients with their software development side. So those are the key ingredients to my IT services, which I always try to keep going. Yeah.
Well, let me just say, from a creative side and the IT side, those are two different modalities and two different dualities to deal with,
Hmm.
because the artist part is the creative, the mind, the heart, the harmonizing of the heart and the mind, and the IT is all about absolutes and code, and um, there's no emotions in coding.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is
So so
emotion
you
involved. Yeah.
so explain to my audience how you go from coder to analytical IT Rosalind to artist painter Rosalind, because as an extreme empath, I couldn't be that extreme empath as a law enforcement officer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely same duality, because it's about the facts and only the facts. And then the other side is the intuitive side with the woo woo world, as they call it. So, how do you deal with the duality of it?
Hmm. So, when I mentioned about since my childhood, I have been a best scholar. So I am extremely good at studies. My memory is really sharp, and my dad always saw that best scholar side. I used to be taking all the medals, cups in studies because of my leadership, because of my endurance, because I used best scholar cup was also there, which I used to receive every single year. So that studious side will not go away from my mind, even if I paint. And I'm very analytical. I analyze the pros and cons about things. I do analyze, but still I'm very creative as well. Like I know that's a weird combination, but I'm designed that way, as
Yeah.
I said, in school, I'm very studious. I do these things. And when I come home, I put my time into music lessons, creating, writing poems. And every Saturday, Sunday, we had a class called Free Progress class. Okay. So you can progress any way you want, like craft, art, music, game, and sports. I mean, and gardening and things like that. So I would say my school where I was studying, that was a pretty unique school. I can never forget that experience what I had throughout my life, because it's going to help me, and it is helping me throughout my career, my life, and I'm really feeling blessed because of that school and the foundation it gave me. So that's how I balance, because I'm designed that way. My mind is programmed that way, that I when I
Okay.
feel.
Okay. No, the thing is mine is programmed for law, which is very black and white.
Mhm.
But my other side is totally empathic. And sometimes there's a clash.
Mm.
No matter how much I program my mind to deal with the law, there would be times where I would be like, something's wrong. Something's wrong here. And I'm the kind of person, I don't take anything personally, even in my empathic world or my law enforcement world. I never took anything personally. I think that was my saving grace for that duality, to
Mhm.
be able to be in that creative space. And I call it in the creative space because to be empathic and to be able to channel entities, most people get freaked out about it. But then here I have a badge and a gun, and I'm telling you to assume the position because now I'm arresting you.
Mhm. Yeah.
So the fact is sometimes there's a clash. And
Mhm.
so I trust that you train your mind, but I'm sure there's times you just like, I can't do either. I just want to do nothing. I just want that moment alone, just nothing.
That nothing part, how long will it exist? How long will it last? For a few hours. You
That's
will
it. I'm
not.
not asking it to last forever. I'm just asking for that moment. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? It's like for me, it's like a salt bath with Epsom salt
Yeah.
and baking soda. Yeah, that's a couple hours. I'm good with that. So you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But I mean, that's from an experience of mine. It's the same thing with you because very analytical and very creative is usually a clash.
But it helps me taking the right decision sometimes,
Mm.
because sometimes in life, in personal life, you need love, you need those tender feelings to be in. And but when things are not going right, you feel like no, you are not in the right spot. Your That analytical mind helps me to get out of that and analyze that nope, I can change my situation. I am here because I'm emotional. I'm not able to take the action towards it. So that's where I take the action and get out of it and make my life again loving. So,
But see, you finally admitted you have the clash, you have those moments. And see, I was like, holy mackerel, I gotta take some lessons from her or something, because there was times, I mean, I dealt with gang members
mm,
and on the streets of Miami-Dade and Fort Lauderdale for years. And so I'm like, when you're a walking lie detector and you can feel they're lying, but now you've got to prove they're lying, that's a whole different duality to go by. So
mm,
then you have to follow the you have to connect the dots, as they say.
yeah, yeah,
And so that's where the analytical comes in. And so it's that combination of working with both and harmonizing them. So I'm glad you've come to some peace with it, because I
mm,
know a lot of people who haven't. I'm just saying they just haven't have that ability too. That's why I asked the question.
yeah.
So can you give a person who's interested in learning about art 3 tips that they could get started with?
I would say that have a lot of patience with yourself. Give your mind uh, full imagination power, because every person is unique. And don't just follow what you see outside somebody's doing or how somebody's creating, because the style of painting or creation process might be totally different than the other person. And when we compare each other by say, oh, I'm not able to paint like that person, but in reality you don't have to paint like that person. You just have to have your own style. So and then also I understand that a lot of people say, oh no, no, you have to keep yourself boxed in a way. If you're painting realistic, just keep on realistic painting, don't do abstract. Or if you're just doing abstract, don't get into that zone of realistic things or landscape. You just put yourself into one zone. I believe some people become bored of it.
Mhm.
So I would say, as a creative person, it does not matter. Your mind has to be so creative, so free flowing. Think from a freedom perspective. You're free to create what you like, you want. It doesn't have to be dark, or it doesn't have to be pretty sad or something. Just take your time, take a step back, and then think, what do you really want to be express? What do you really want to express? And you'll be proud about it. You want to share about it to the world. Don't just create for the sake of creating, rather create to remember it, to impact yourself, and then you share with the world. And always focus on what are you bringing to the society, not just your thing, but you are inspiring others as well. So when we have those kind of, bigger picture vision for something, it just doesn't become really personal. It's a inspiration which works like a fire within us and becomes our own style, I'd say. So first thing is, choose your own style. Don't box yourself to one style or the other. Second is, give your imagination free flow, full flow, to create something. Third is, no matter what material you choose, oil color, watercolor, acrylic, or pastel, don't restrict yourself to that, because creativity is all about giving it a free flow. You if you box yourself, you're thinking in the other direction. So that's all I would say. And also creating a balanced mind.
I like that, but the thing is a lot of people that create paintings do it from that emotional side in them, and they haven't figured out how to harmonize the mind and the brain, and which I think is an amazing understanding, because that's how I do my spirituality. Because um, it is all about harmonizing the mind and the brain. It
Mm,
is all about listening to yourself. It is about allowing those emotions to come up, even if they're uncomfortable, but to look at them and say, is this my feeling or is this somebody else's feeling? Is this my circumstances, or am I taking on someone else's energy?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I really, really like that. So I
And
asked
also,
this.
I
Go
would
ahead.
also add one thing, that uh, some people like to stay in their past or what happened.
Mm,
They don't go for the future or the bright side of it, or see what is the best thing I can take out of every situation. So they like to be in the past, and they create that energy or that
mhm.
artwork which keeps them recall that moment, which never can come out. And
I
that's
call,
where
yeah, I love that. And that's something I teach my clients, is about victimhood.
exactly.
When you say, and I always use a pyramid when I describe it, because you have victimhood over here, you have perpetrator or oppressor over here, and the mastery of it is climbing the pyramid to the top to become your own hero.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
once you become your own hero, the pyramid collapses, because it's not, it's it's conquered. It's, you've come to the top, you've learned the lesson, it no longer exists. You it's not that you release it, but you create a foundation off that experience
Mm-hmm.
by becoming to realize that if I stay in my victimhood, I'm going to be that victim all my life, and that's what I attract.
Yeah. Yes.
So I agree. I absolutely agree with you on that. So I asked this of all my interviewees to take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and connect to your inner 5-year-old self, your inner child.
Mm-hmm.
And what would she say about you today?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So close my eyes.
Close your eyes and just take a deep breath in, sit in it for a minute, connect to her. And what is she saying to Rosalind from Rosalind?
Mm. It is saying that you did it. It is
Mm.
saying.
I'm so proud of you. You challenged yourself and you stepped through those thresholds each and every time you had an obstacle.
Yeah.
That you stepped through them and mastered each one,
Mhm. Yeah.
is what I heard.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Those kind of stuff. Like you never, you are just built to do create wonderful things, and life is a journey. You don't take things personally because nobody can do wonders to you. Only you can be responsible for your uh, how you take an experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what it tells me. And my, as I told you, you know, my the books I have read, the meditation, the values I have experienced and practiced since my childhood. Giving, when we are in childhood, we have a lot of energy, like we're jumping around, we are playing around. But when you are able to discipline yourself and sit at one place and create something and think about it again and again and then come back, as if you're acting like a mature person already. So that's how I always carry that.
I think they call that an old soul. I do. There's kids that I have seen that have been wise beyond their years. And I always thought, oh, are they going to miss out on their childhood? And they said, no, I relive my childhood every day. And
Mm,
so it,
yeah.
it is staying in that energy, in that presence of
Mm,
staying in the moment, the here and the now,
mm,
instead of, again, expecting what's coming up with the future or being stuck in the past and bringing in that victimhood. So
yeah.
Rosalind, thank you so much for being here. It's been an amazing interview, and I appreciate all that you have shared with my audience.
Oh, I loved it thoroughly, Christine. I really appreciate you giving me the chance to share my message, my experiences, my businesses, what I'm doing, my creation process with my audience and my readers in future. And I'm really grateful. I look forward to everything. Yeah.
Hold on one second. It takes a special kind of individual to dream their thoughts and ideas and turn it into their reality. Rosalind has done that. Whatever she went through in her past, she stayed her course. She had the courage to go through the follow through to the end. Rosalind Panda, you've championed yourself. Now we know who you've become. Thank you for sharing your ideas, your thoughts, and dreams with us today.